Michael, it's me again. I got another bunch of bad jokes for you. Are you ready? Some of these are really awful. You got to pay attention now. Stay with me on this. Okay, so the first one, there's this woman sitting in the park, and she notices two guys moving across the lawn of the park in front of her, and one of them's digging a hole, and the other one's filling it up. And they move along the aisle, dig a hole, fill it up, dig a hole, fill it up. Finally, she couldn't stand the curiosity. She went over and asked, she said, "Why are you digging a hole and then filling it up?" And they said, well, the guy that puts the trees in the hole, he's out sick today. So there are a bunch of tourists on a kind of a fake pirate ship sort of thing, but there was a real sailor on there who was the tour guide kind of guy, but he really did have a peg leg, and he had a hook for one hand, and he had an eye patch. And a little boy asked him, said, how did all that happen? And he said, well, the leg was actually bitten off by a shark, and the hand, believe it or not, was bitten off by a sea turtle, and the eye was put out by seagull poop. And the little boy said, well, the turtle and the shark, I can understand, but you lost an eye to seagull poop? How's that happen? And the guy said, well, it was my first day with the hook, and I looked up and a seagull pooped, and I went, oh. So the guy goes to a doctor and he says, "Doc, I think I'm beginning to lose my memory completely. My short-term memory's just shot. I mean, sometimes I can't even remember the last thing that I said." And the doctor said, "How long have you had this problem?" The guy says, "What problem?" So a judge in night court's talking to a drunk that's been brought before him, and he says, "So you ran your car into a tree, huh?" And the drunk says, "Well, it wasn't my fault. I honked to get out of the way." And the judge says, "And you were going down the wrong way down a one-way street when this happened, a one-way street." And the guy says, "Judge, I was only going one way." So speaking of cars, I have a car fact for you and a medical fact. The car fact is, and this is true, if you took all of the wires out of any modern American car and stretched them end to end, Michael, you'd have more than a mile of wire. And if you let the doctors take all of the veins and arteries out of your body and stretch them end to end, Michael, that would hurt. Don't let them do that. Speaking of cars, do you know what time it was when the Ford hit the Chevy? It was 10 to 10. Get it? It's a little pun there, Michael, a little pun. 10 to 10, 10 o'clock, T-E-N, 10 versus 10 on the bumper of the Chevy. All right, that was a terrible joke, Michael, but it was, I'm really coming up with some bad ones here. What can I say? Speaking of elephants, Michael, do you know where you find elephants? Wherever you left them. Are you paying attention here, really, still? Do you know how you make an elephant laugh? You tickle it. I told you these are easy. Here's one's a little bit harder. If you're out on the savannah and you see an elephant, how do you keep the elephant from charging you? Take away his credit card. Do you know being kissed by a vampire is a real pain in the neck? All right, last one, Michael, and you can go back to feeling bad if you really need to, but I prefer if you go back to feeling good. So a little girl was learning how to put her shoes on, and she finally got it right. She put her shoes on all by herself, and she was so proud, and her mom was so proud, and her mom said, "Darling, that's just wonderful that you finally got your shoes on all by yourself." And he says, "Oh, but you know, darling, I think you put the shoes on the wrong feet." And the little girl looked at her mom and said, "Mom, now that's just silly. You know these are my feet." All right, that's the end of this batch, Michael. Take care, have fun, wash behind the ears, stay out of trouble, don't do anything I wouldn't do. Stay well. Love you, kid. Take care. Bye-bye.